Hello, I've been looking at an article. The title of the newspaper article is Feeding Newborns Their Mother's Poo Reduces Risk of Asthma and Allergies, study claims. And this newspaper's article is subtitled Babies born by cesarean should be fed small amounts of their mother's poo mixed with breast milk to help boost their immune systems. A bizarre study claims. The newspaper article said that babies born by cesarean probably don't get exposed to the microbiota in their mother's vagina and perineum during birth. So they might have less microbiotas, and this can be negative effects on their immune system development. A new study conducted a project called FMTs, which full name is fecal microbiota transplants. Scientists collected mothers' fecal samples and diluted them 3 weeks before delivery, and then babies were given their mother's poo mixed breast milk shortly after birth. By the 3 months of age, the microbiota of the babies who received FMTs were similar to those of babies born vaginally and different from those of babies born cesarean. Besides, articles suggest people don't try on their own. Mothers may use the antibiotics or have a potentially dangerous microbe. Babies may have complications after FMTs. In the future work, the researchers plan to study the development of the immune systems. The original article is written by Katrina Capella, Auto Health, and others, and published in Cell Press on October 2020. Most of the original article is well represented in the newspaper article. The newspaper article represents the background to the study. Cesarean section-born infants have not passed their mother's vagina, and so they have less microbiota and increased risk of developing asthma and allergies. The experiment subject. 17 mothers agreed to participate in the study and collected blood samples to screen the contradictions. The experimental method. At 3 weeks before the planned cesarean delivery, a fresh fecal sample was collected and diluted, mixed with mother's milk. The babies were given the FMTs after birth, and their fecal was tested at birth, and again at 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 3 months. The conclusion: by the 3 months of age, the microbiota of the babies who received FMTs were similar to those of babies born vaginally. However, we all know this research may seem unpalatable to most people. The original article was compared with research data from other more palatable research. But newspaper article didn't show that FMTs is the most effective way until now. The researchers researched a lot of data before carrying out the experiment to provide a basis for the experimental content. For example, fecal microbiota development of newborns is dependent on the mode of delivery. The human systems have adapted to receiving specific microbial signals during certain time windows, and microbial colonization of the newborn is a pivotal process that affects later life health. The researchers designed a reasonable experiment procedure and obtained a valid conclusion. To their credit, they not only looked at their own data, but also compared it with experiments in Finland and Sweden. The only problem is that they didn't have enough people to take part in the experiment. After blood screen, only 7 mothers were allowed to participate in the experiment. Besides, researchers may need to study the effective transplant dose and the number of transplants. The other important study is whether the higher dose was associated with temporally elevated CRP values. In summary, there has been no safe and effective means for microbiota restoration in cesarean delivered infants. FMTs as an effective way, there are still some drawbacks. If this method can be perfected, I think we can help cesarean section-born infants restore the gut bacteria.